Welcome back. Yeah, it's another bag. How many bags has this woman got, I hear you ask? Well, quite a few. Because I'm disabled, it was just easier for me to get several bags together and load them all out for my needs. Now, this is the bag I would take if I was visiting family who live a fair distance from me. Not necessarily if I'm flying. Obviously, something like the Victorinox I wouldn't be able to fly with that, but I would probably use this bag to take out some of the items if I was flying to take with me. But as it stands, it's the bag I would put in the car if I'm travelling, say, up to Scotland to visit the Scottish lot. So it's just a sling bag, shoulder sling bag, nothing fancy. Two pouches on the front, a little pocket in the front, a main section, a little pocket, a little section in the front, glasses come general purpose, the main section which has got two internal pockets. On the outside I keep a reflective band handy, and sorry, I'm getting caught up with the tripod. On the side is the water carrier for the water container, and then on the back is a small pouch on the back. In the back is where I keep these, which are a large personal lens and an emergency tent shelter. Not the greatest thing in the world, but it's better than nothing. And obviously if I'm with somebody else, it's large enough for a couple of people. And in the water container, my trusty old Nalgene Epic water filter bottle. This one does actually have the filter in for external water sources, so if I find that I need to filter or purify water, that gives me an option. This is this squeeze bottle. I personally just use it as a with the straw option rather than trying to squeeze water out of it. So that's the water filter that I would take with me. Now, in here, I think probably start with first aid and hygiene, pack of camping toilet tissue if you're in an emergency. Last thing you want to be without is some kind of toilet tissue. I have a basic first aid boo-boo kit. I have added a few things in this. I've added a couple of pairs of gloves, a mask, some eye wipes, because I do suffer from dry eyes. If you've been following my other videos, you know that, and some antiseptic cream. The rest is just basic boo-boo kit that came with it. So plasters, alcohol prep pads, that sort of thing. But it's just the perfect size for taking, and it also has the option of putting it on a belt. These are fingerless gloves. They're compression gloves, so they're ideal for my arthritic hands, if they start getting too painful. But they can also double up as bit of extra warmth or pair of work gloves. Alongside my boo-boo kit, this is my redundancy first aid kit. So I have some tissues and micropore tape, some non-alcoholic cleaning wipes, as well as wipes that contain alcohol, so it gives me options. Wrist support, alcohol swabs, burn gel. So not enough for anything major, but again enough to see you through for what most people would require. Alongside that, again, some more of my medications, plus basic over-the-counter medications like painkillers. And in here is some petroleum jelly, Vaseline. The beauty about petroleum jelly is that you can use it as hand cream, lip balm. You can use it to extend fire lighting, and also it's in a case that I could use for signalling if required. Another thing of microporous tape. I tend to use that a lot. I'm dreadful at getting myself cut or they're scratched by the cats, so I'm forever using it. Just a little book, fun book, nothing exciting, but just enough to hopefully keep boredom at bay. So 3 fairly decent masks, 2 N95s and an N99. So if I'm in an evacuation centre, that would see me through 72 hours. Two emergency blankets. Again, I decided on 2 because the tent is big enough for 2 people. If it's just me, great, fine. I have extra options, but if I'm with somebody, again, it provides for them as well. Rubbish bags, small rubbish bags, large rubbish bags. Where to next? I think probably towards the back. Spare socks and underwear. On the front, on the outside of the bag, I keep this, which is a foldable grabber. Always useful if you're disabled and have problems with arthritis and grip. And as you can see, it folds down and it just sits on the top with the top strap over it quite nicely. And alongside that, I would have this particular poncho. This is the poncho I wear all the time in the winter. I've put a little carabiner on it so that I've got options to hang it from either the outside of a bag or clip to somewhere else. But this is the one that I use all the time. Right, on to hot drinks. So again, if I'm with somebody else, this lets me provide them with a hot drink. It's folds up nice, and again it has a little handle, I suppose, on the outside, which would allow me to hang it from a bag if required. And with that, I have this little cup that goes in this bag, and with this bag I also have some coffee filters. Now what this allows you to do is filter out all the muck and sediment that you might find in an outside water source. So that, say for example, if I wanted to purify water by boiling it in this mug, the last thing I want is bits of sediment floating around it and sifting it through my teeth. So this provides filtration in the sense that it filters out all the nasty gubbins that you can see, but it doesn't make it safe to drink. What you need to do to make it safe to drink is either boil it, use something like this filter, or you can use water purification tablets. They're in there somewhere, I'll show you shortly. But anyway, this is a 300ml titanium mug, so it's nice and light, and I can easily make coffees. What I want to do is I must add some sugars to that, because again, although I don't take sugar, I could be somebody who does. And of course, by having a mug with a lid, you're going to get a much better boil time than a mug without. So that's the little mug that I would use, and that's the mug I would offer to somebody who's with me. Now, if you don't have coffee filters, something like an old handkerchief can do the job. Again, try and make sure that it's a cotton-based handkerchief. Here we go. And the reason I have kept the Epic water filter bag is because it's got the instructions in there, and this is where I keep the water purification tablets. Each tablet does 1 litre of water, so I could measure out that amount in the Nalgene bottle and use that to purify it. What I would like to add to this kit is one of the Wellpack stand-up bags, but I haven't got round to it, so I must do that. A bit of cordage, not sure how much is here, but enough to be useful. And again, because it's a natural cordage, you can fluff up the ends and use it as a bit of tinder as well. So, a couple of pairs of earplugs. Again, 1 pair for me, 1 pair spare, or 1 pair for somebody else. In here, I keep a spare micro USB lead, a spare pair of earphones, and a spare C lead for my phone. The reason I make sure that I've got spare earphones all over the place is because I have explained in another video I have very small ear canals, and these earphones are ones that I find don't fall out on me and are actually comfortable for me to wear. So I try and keep as many spare as I can, because I don't know how much longer they'll be available for. So obviously, if I have all that, I need to be able to use a power source. And with that in mind, this is a 2600 milliamp hour battery, so it's got enough power for 2 people. It has 2 USB connections, so two phones can charge at once, and as you can see, it's still charged up, which is rather nice because it's been sitting in there for months. Alongside that, I have an Olight charger. Now, the beauty about this charger is not only will it charge the battery out of an Olight torch, but if you've got a rechargeable AA or AAA battery, you connect it to the either end of the battery, plug this into a power source, and then you can recharge that single battery. Obviously the limitation is you can only do one battery at a time, but if you have a torch, say, that runs off a single battery, or you're just sitting around for ages and you have access to mains electricity, you could do 3 or 4 batteries, one after another. So it's not entirely useless, and it really doesn't take up much room. Is another piece of cloth. Again, it's a cotton cloth. With cotton you can also make char cloth, which is quite useful for getting fires started. Now this is one that I put in again for water filtration reasons, but also if I want to clean out the mugs. This is my light. Where's the other torch gone? Here, kitty kitty. Oh, there it is. Okay, so I have 2 lights, exactly the same as in my other grab and go bag. So no light batten. This actually does need charging up, as you can see. But I love the light batten because if you're wearing a ball cap, you can slide it on and use this as a headlamp. And again, it's got the magnetic charger, just clips onto the base, and then this end goes into a USB. And like before, this charges from a micro USB. It's nice and bright, and you just focus by pulling the front and then pulling it back. Now the next setting is a flashing light, so I don't want to set anybody off with seizures, so I won't show that bit. But also you get a handy little lantern, which I think is a great idea, and it's quite a bright little lantern, and again in an emergency situation would probably help quite a lot, especially morale wise. Now it does have the edge that you could use as a self-defense tool if required. Again, in the UK we have very tough laws on what you can and can't carry. So for example, if I was going certain places I would not be able to take this with me, but I use this as my multi-tool. I love Victorinox. I've had Victorinox since I was a child. And they hardly take up any space. They last forever. They're easy to keep clean. They're easy to keep sharp. So, like I say, a little pair of pliers. You've got all the usual gubbins, including toothpick and tweezers. So, a very useful little multi-tool that. And again, because the blade is just about legal, just on the legal edge of UK laws, and it also is non-locking, so again that's within UK legal laws. However, if I was going somewhere where I felt that this would not be permitted, it wouldn't go. Simple as that. On the outside of the bag, of course, hand gel. In this little thing I just keep a few weird little mementos and whatnot. This was for example, this was a gift from my aunt, so I like to carry it with me. And this was a gift from a good friend of mine, so if I want to fiddle with something in my hands, that covers that. And I also carry a few, just about £1 worth of change in there. The important thing really is this little guy. This is for cleaning in between your teeth, like a dental floss, but it's actually a little brush. So you could actually use it as a tiny, tiny toothbrush. It wouldn't do the same as a toothbrush, but it's better than nothing. And like I say, it just goes in this little pouch nicely, which again was a present from somebody. So if I've got it with me, it's got good memories associated with it. So a little morale boost again. A little pack of playing cards alongside the book. You can see how little room those two take up. Of course, not forgetting that I've probably got this with me as well, or something, or I have a couple that are very similar size. This is my favourite one because it zips up, and I just happen to like the colour, so this would be my preferred one to take with me. I've generally got it with me if I'm going visiting. So waterproof notebook and a mechanical pencil. I do have a second mechanical pencil in the front of the bag, which I forgot to get out, alongside a Biro Parker pen. So I do have options to write things down. Personally, I prefer using pencils. I don't know why, or I always have done. And I think with waterproof notebooks, they're especially useful. But I do have a biro as well as an option. So let's just get rid of this thing. This is a little multi-tool. This little brass coloured piece pulls out, and then it pushes in there, and in there to remove the 3 items. Okay, so one's a whistle, ferro rod, striker for the ferro rod. And the reason I got it was it's got a little compass on it. It is actually fairly accurate, and it has a mirror, so a signal mirror could be used. And it has a little magnifying glass. I wanted to say something else then for some reason. But so like I said, it was really the compass. Like I said, it's fairly accurate. It wasn't that expensive to buy. And this is the instructions for it. Again, if I'm with somebody who doesn't know how to use it, this would give them the instructions they need to access the whistle and ferro rod if required. Ferro rod's only a tiny little thing, but it's a backup that's not taking up any extra space because it's already part of the compass. So my main ferro rod is one from Life Systems, and obviously it has the striker. I have used this and it strikes well. So in an emergency, if for any reason the 2 lighters I've got failed, I've got other options. Now, like all the lighters that I carry in my bags, these have got zip ties across. She says, where's that one gone? That one's come off. I shall have to redo that. But anyway, zip ties so that you can't depress the button and have all the gas escape. Yeah. So, yeah, like so. That's weird. I know it had it on when it came out of the bag, so it's obviously fallen off at some point. That's why it's a good idea to check these things occasionally. In this little pouch, I have a metal straw, spork, just a basic fork, kind of knife. It is reasonably sharpish, and the spoon. I would probably use my Victorinox as the knife part and not bother with that part. If we're talking, I'm going to talk about food. Again, I would probably have a camping meal with me. Again, I wouldn't be, because this bag is much smaller than the other one, I wouldn't have the ability to carry as much as I would with my main bag, but it would allow me to carry something. So if I'm with somebody, I could heat water up with my titanium mug on this little guy. I think this is brilliant. I love this thing. It is a miniature stove. It's a miniature stove that you can feed with twigs. I mean, it's tiny. Look how small it is. It's cute. Okay, fangirling out the way. It fits in, when it's disassembled, it fits into this little bag. So as you can see, it hardly takes up any room. I like to keep a bit of foil in there as well. So if for any reason I am using twigs to feed that, I can put some foil underneath it and catch any ashes that might be fall out of the bottom. And it literally is so easy to take apart and put together. She says, yeah, you see, I'm trying to do this at an angle, and it doesn't always work so well when you're trying to do something at an angle. Come on, there we go. Once you've got one piece off, the rest is generally much easier, she says. So like I said, it compacts down to that. It's a stainless steel construction, so you can get titanium, but obviously titanium is much more expensive. But because this is for emergency use, really, I felt that stainless steel was perfectly fine for my needs. And alongside that, I have a knife sharpener, a plug, so if I'm anywhere with mains, I can plug in my power bank or my phone or my torches. This is the fuel that I would use with the stove. Now this requires a flame for 20 seconds, so it doesn't start on a pure spark. So if I was starting it with a ferro rod, it wouldn't work, which is why I have got this cotton wool, so I could use that to start from a spark, which could then start that. And last but not least, these are my winter gloves. These are the ones that I bought last year. I've only worn them a couple of times so far, but at this time of year I would keep these. If I was away, I would have these with me, so I thought it was worth showing them to you. So that's it. So yes, all that does go in this little shoulder bag and these two front pouches. So it's amazing what will actually fit in there. And like I said, again, I've tried to make it so that it's available for 2 people, or plenty of redundancies. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you liked it, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. Maybe feel free to leave a comment if you think I've perhaps missed something. Again, these types of bags are very subjective to your type of weather and your type of environment, so what suits me won't necessarily suit you, but it's always interesting hearing different ideas. So thanks for watching, and until the next time, take care. Bye for now.